For each participant ID, please use your real name following with your origin of institution. All of participants are expected to mute the audio and only unmute the video during the event. We cordially invite you to take your own firm and comfort seat in your own room, and please avoid the backlight. Make sure that you have a good and stable internet connection. If you have an earphone or headset, we recommend you to use it so that your voice can clearly and loudly to be heard. During the Q&A discussion session, all participants, please use the chat box to deliver the questions. Thank you for your cooperation and consideration.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the guest lecture series on SDGs today, Tuesday, 6th of April 2021. I am Nur from ITS Global Engagement and I will be your Master of Ceremony this afternoon. Thank you for joining our guest lecture series on SDGs today. Before we start our agenda, let me inform you the important information for today's event. First, please fill out your attendance at bit.ly/attendance_GLS SDGs. Our committee will also send the attendance link in the Zoom chat room. For participants who wish to get an e-certificate and spam, please fill the attendance no later than 15 minutes after the session starts. Second, participants who wish to ask questions during the question and answer session, please send your question to intip.in/Q&A/GLS-SDGs. This link will be sent in the chat room as well. Alternatively, you can ask directly by clicking the raise hand feature during this Q&A session. Ladies and gentlemen, this guest lecture series on SDGs is dedicated as a form of appreciation in commemorating the 60th anniversary of Institut Teknologi 10 November Surabaya. Today's guest lecture brings the theme Malaysia Climate Action Initiatives and the change of biodiversity in mangrove area using multitemporal remote sensing technology in coastal area. Today's lecture will be delivered by our speakers, the Honorable Associate Professor Fazara MD Ali from University Malaysia Perlis, and the Honorable Professor Bangun Mulyo Sukojo from ITS. Both of today's lecture will be moderated by the Honorable Mr. Welly Herumurti, ST MSc. Before we start our agenda, allow me to deliver the schedule today as follows. First will be the opening. Continuing on to the next agenda will be an introduction of the moderator, and then we will listen to the lecture session by Dr. Fazara, followed by the lecture session by Professor Bangun Mulyo Sukojo. After that, we will have a Q&A session. Then we will move on to the certificate awarding. Lastly, will be the closing. Now, before we proceed to the main agenda, let me introduce our moderator today. Our moderator for today is Mr. Welly Herumurti, ST MSc. Mr. Welly is a junior lecturer at Department of Environmental Engineering in ITS. He is a graduate of ITS and University Technology Petronas. Mr. Welly's research interests are wastewater treatment and solid and hazardous waste management. Now, without further ado, let's proceed to the main agenda. To the moderator, Mr. Welly, the time is yours.
Thank you, Ms. Nur, for the welcoming speech. And I introduce myself. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good afternoon. It's our pleasure to have the session with the two distinguished lectures. The first one is Associate Professor Umi Farazam from University Malaysia Perlis, and the second one is Professor Bangun Mulyo Sukojo. Let me read the curriculum vitae, both of them. The first speaker is Associate Professor Umi Faraza Muhammad Ali, actually graduated from University Malaya and followed by the Master Engineering degree in Chemical Engineering for the Spiration Technology from University Malaya, and obtained her PhD degree in Chemical Engineering in Imperial College London. Her professional experience actually and the membership actually is the associate professor from the University Malaysia Perlis, Malaysia, and also she is head of the Chemical and Sustainable Engineering Cluster from School of Environmental Engineering. Her professional also is as the Board of Engineer of Malaysia in Chemical Engineering, and also she obtained the Engineering Accreditation Council from the Engineering Panel of Evaluator, EAD, Board of Engineering Malaysia. Her research interest actually in biomass utilization, carbon capture, utilization of storage, waste management, and also the wastewater treatment. Maybe the second speaker. For the second lectures, actually from Institute Technology 10 November from the Department of Climatic Engineering, the Professor Bangun Mulyo Sukojo. Actually, he's obtained the degree from Geodetic Engineering from Institute Technology Bandung, and followed by the two master degree actually from the, I'm sorry, this one is from French, before my spelling is mistake. From the tele detection from University Pierre and Marie Curie, École Nationale des Sciences Graphiques, Saint-Médard, France, and followed by the second master degree from the Ecology Terrestrial of Limnic with Ecology of Land and Aquatic, Paul Savitier, University of France, and continue the doctoral degree from the Teledetection Ecology, Remote Sensing and Ecology, Paul Sabatier, University in France. And his professor actually in the remote sensing sector. He also already write many of books. The four of them is about the remote sensing, toponymy, calculate geodetic projection, geographic information system in theory and application. And his formulating public policy actually many of experience. The four of them is actually plan implementation of government regulation and geospatial information for Indonesian government. And the second one is the Republic Indonesia government regulation for in 2020 regarding the concerning implementation of topographic names. And also the third one is Geospatial Information Agency regulation of 2020, the concerning standard geospatial data collection basic and for making large-scale base map 2020 Indonesian good. And the last one, standardization of Indonesian national topographical names is good. Actually, this one only last 2 years of his experience regarding the government policy. I think actually Dr. Prof. Bangun actually have many of experience regarding the research and also the community services. For the next one, we allow to the first speakers to deliver her lectures today. For the first one, we please Associate Professor Dr. Umi Faraza to deliver your speaks. Please welcome. About 40 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Willie. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear clearly in here.
Yes. Can you see my presentation as well?
Yeah, it's already start.
All right.
For your presentation.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good day. Selamat petang. All right. To Mr. Willie first, the coordinator for this session. Miss Rainey, who assists me in this virtual talk. The other speaker, if you are here, Prof, Professor Bangun Mulyo Sukojo. Nice to meet you, Prof. And all the committee members. Yeah, all the committee members, right? As well as all the participants within this GLS SDG talk. Yeah, right. Hello, everyone. Just call me Dr. Umi. So today I'll share with you the experience, or call it Malaysia experience in tackling climate change. Okay, the title for today is Malaysia Climate Action Initiatives. So basically, Mr. Willie have given me a bit of a brief introduction. Thank you so much. And I was mesmerized to see your video presentation on ITS Surabaya. It's really amazing. So before I started, I'd like to share a little bit about Malaysia. All right, about University Malaysia Perlis. Might be some of the committee members or the participants have been to Malaysia before, right? So University Malaysia Perlis is situated in the northern part of Malaysia. As you can see here is Perlis, right? So we are quite distributed within the Perlis area, but we have a campus, which is the main campus is in Pau, all right, in Perlis. So you can see here, this is a picture of several pictures of our universities. And this is the main gate. And you can see this is the chancellery, where it places our vice chancellor and its EXCO. And we have some mural there, and we have a very large library in University Malaysia Perlis. So if you're interested, then you can just click in this website, which is http://www.unimap.edu.my. Okay, Mr. Willie, let me know if I exceed the time. All right? Okay.
Yeah, I will.
Right. All right. So I shall start with my outline of presentation. So today, I'll talk a little bit on the sustainability, okay, and sustainable development goals in brief. Right. Number two, I'll talk about the scenarios in Malaysia, okay, on climate change. Malaysia, and we have major milestones and the key policies, right? Then climate change is an opportunity in Malaysia as well, right? I'll talk about mitigation and adaptation, and then I will close with way forward and some recommendation. Perhaps this sharing, between Malaysia and Indonesia, we can learn from each other, we can transfer knowledge, and we can share the best practices that Malaysia have done so far where Indonesia can adapt in your country as well. And we would like to share with you as well, to share what Indonesia have done up till now, right? Right, so, I'd like to start with the definition of sustainability, because I think this is really important. People always misconception the definition of sustainability. They always think about their own self, the individual, the way they want to sustain. However, sustainability has a broader definition, okay, which you can read it there, which is meeting the needs of the present, right, without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their needs. Means that sustainability is about all of us. You know, it's about you, it's about me, it's about our family, it's about our community and the world practically. So if you define sustainable development is in a more holistic way, sustainable development is the economic growth, the social development, as well as the environmental protection. Right? So bear in mind that sustainability is about all of us, the way we sustain future or future generation, things like that. Okay, so as for today, I'll talk about climate change. And as you know, we have 17 SDG. SDG is Sustainable Development Goals. And today we'll talk about SDG 13. Right? SDG 13 talk about climate change, okay? Which is the SDG. The time frame for this SDG is between 2016 and 2013. It's a very big gap, you know, it's a very big range. The year given, I mean, the time frame given for us to adapt with the SDGs. So SDG 13 says we have to take urgent action in order to combat climate change and its impact, right? So we have 232 indicators of all these SDGs, 17 SDGs. So today, we will focus on SDG 13, which is climate change, right? So before I proceed with what are the initiatives taken by Malaysia as a country, I'd like to go through the climate change in Malaysia. What has happened, you know, during the past year and today? So you can see that climate change in Malaysia being affected, you know, by or the consequence of it is the increasing surface temperature. Right. Number two is the increasing occurrence of extreme weather, for example, and increasing mean sea level, and as well as variable rainfall is unpredictable. Right. This is caused by energy, for example, disposal of waste, or agricultural, you know, situation, and industrial processes. So then, when we have this consequence of climate change, we have to plan for mitigation as well as adaptation for impact on climate change. And at the end of this presentation, I will present to you what are the recommendations that made by our country. All right. So next, if you can see here, right, this is the climate change scenarios in Malaysia, where you can see the main GHG or greenhouse gases emission contributors in Malaysia are number one, the energy industry.
I'm sorry, the share screen is stopped, Dr. Umi.
Sorry, the screen.
Yeah, the screen, maybe you can reshare.
Wait.
Yeah, reshare the screen.
Right. Okay, wait a minute. I share again. Right, can you see it?
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So what happened here, as I'm just saying, it being contributed by the industries, by the transport, you know, this transport situation in Malaysia. Next is manufacturing industries. Okay. And agricultural sectors. Okay, this is in our biennial report to the UNFCCC, which is the United Nations, in 2015. right? As you can see there, energy is the main contributor, and we have industrial processes and industrial processes where it contributes. The current year estimated is about 23,000, okay, CO2 equivalent, which is really large, right? So now what happened, right? So the impact that I can see just now is this is a continuous phenomenon in Malaysia, right? So the following incident happened. So to explain more on the consequence or the phenomena that happens caused by climate change, is number one is the increase of annual surface temperature, okay, from 0.6 degrees centigrade to 1.4 degrees centigrade. Is quite a lot. If it's happened every year, then the weather or the temperature, the surface temperature will be unpredictable. Okay. Number two is the increase in annual rainfall intensity, right, from 1,891 millimeter to 2,000 over millimeter between the range of the year, and it keep increasing year by year. And Indonesia have experienced this as well. Is about floods, because heavy rain leading to floods, especially in the states of Johor, west of Malaysia, east coast of Malaysia, which is Terengganu, Pahang, and Sabah. And recently, by 2020, within end of last year, we have a very heavy floods happen in this country. Yeah, so the floods, it always kill. I mean, the consequence of this, it kills people as well, right? And 12,000 people to be displaced nationwide due to this flood. And next is the strong wind gush to the west coast of Sabah, Sarawak, and Labuan, right? This part of Malaysia. And in 2018, there is a small tornado, right, in Penang, which caused damage to the roof of building. And this is phenomena, right, that happens due to this climate change. And it's a concern in Malaysia. When people talk about climate change, you have to feel bad about that, right? So it's a concern to our country. And what we did is in 2016, we have this Paris Agreement, which is committed to reduce the greenhouse gases emission by 45% in the year 2030, right? So this target was set with 35 unconditional basis upon the climate finance finding, technology transfer, and etc. So now we are moving towards it. So we are developing policies in order to mitigate, in order to tackle climate change within the country. And the latest is the UN Climate Change Conference, which is COP24 in Katowice, Poland. Okay, so basically we have a change of government in 2018, and we have been aggressively, go towards or have our effort in order to tackle climate change. So we encourage that people develop a green economy, creates job, right? And we can do more, and we are fighting climate change together. So our minister, which is Ms. Yobi Yin, saying this, that we will together fight climate change, and the most important thing is to win. Okay, to win the war together, right? So now in Malaysia, the ministry that take over on or in charge of climate change is the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, which we call MOSTI. Previously is MESTEC. MESTEC is Ministry of Energy, Science, Technology, Environmental and Climate Change. Okay, so now we have a MOSTI to tackle or to draft a policy on tackling climate change. All right. Okay, so now I want you to give the roadmap or the major milestones that happen through the revolution within the country, within Malaysia. So it all started in 1994. So we have this ratify UNFCCC in 30th of July 1994. UNFCCC is the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, with the key objective of stabilization of GHG. Okay, when I say GHG is greenhouse gases concentration in the atmosphere, okay, at the level that prevent dangerous interference with the climate systems, right? So in September 2002, the country ratified Kyoto Protocol, right? Kyoto Protocol is forward down to 1997, which is developed nation pledge to reduce emission by average of 5% by the period of 2008 to 2012. So Malaysia ratified the Kyoto Protocol in September 2002. Okay. In November 2015, okay, we submitted to the UNFCCC, and next in November 2016, we ratified the Paris Agreement. Okay, and then we have the Katowice in Poland, where we make our pledge that we will fight this climate change together, okay, as a developing nation, right, working together hand in hand with the developed countries. Okay, so this is in Katowice, Poland. Yeah, all right. So you can see here, this is one example of key policies of Malaysia, which is to ensure the climate resilient development to fulfill national aspiration for sustainability. So we have 5 policy principles, you can read that, which is development of sustainable path, the conservation of environment and resources, coordination of implementation, effective participation is not only you as an individual, but as a community, right? So effective participation by all people in all ages, right? And common but differentiate responsibility and different respective capabilities, okay, in terms of tackling climate change. Right. Right, so if you can see here, this is some of our effort, right? This is our initiative. We put in our Malaysia development plans, or we call it SMP, okay, Malaysia plans, all right? So we have 10 Malaysia plans, which is in the year of 2011 to 2015, where we developed the Malaysian plan for around 5 years, okay, for a range of 5 years. So in 10 Malaysia plan, okay, we have in chapter 6, you know, you can open it online, you can read it online, where we want to build an environment that enhance quality of life. Okay, as the time goes, we have 11th Malaysian plan, which is in the year of 2016 to 2020, which is recently finished. So we have Trust 4, which is pursuing green growth for sustainability and resilience, right? And in 11 Malaysian plan as well, if you can read there, we have pillar number 4, okay, which is 5, which is effort to mitigate change. We will be intensify, where you reduce the greenhouse gases emission, okay, from the emitting sectors, as I said just now, from manufacturing, from transportation, from agricultural sectors. So these are the initiative taken, where we put in the initiative in order to tackle climate change within our Malaysian plan. So you can see here, we have 10, 11, and now 12. And even 12, we are sustaining it, putting it together within this plan. So every stages of communities, you know, will take action on this. All right. So next, if you can see that I've given 4 examples of Malaysian initiative. Number 1 is the policy. Number 2, about the Malaysian plan, where we put in most probably in reducing greenhouse gases to tackle climate change. So if you can see here is the achievement up till now, which is number 1 is the existing financing mechanism, right? We've strengthened to support the uptake of green initiatives. Okay, so most of our funding several of our funding goes to green initiatives in order to maintain sustainability. Okay, number two, if the implementation of government green procurement, okay, which is stimulate the green growth market, and then the installed capacity of renewable energy. We have taken, a very active initiative in installing, for example, solar energy or solar panel, okay, within Malaysia, because we have lots of sun. So, in terms of that, we given some support to people who are involved in renewable energy industry or in renewable energy sectors. Next is Malaysian carbon reduction and environmental sustainability tool, okay, was adopted to encourage construction of green buildings. So basically we have terms like IBS, okay. This one would, decrease down or reduce down the carbon emission, okay. So it goes to sustainability within the building sector. And next is the establishment of National Disaster Management Agency, which is strengthen disaster risk management. As I said just now, that we have this kind of flood disaster happens in the east coast of Malaysia. So we have a very good disaster management team or agency that helps people, affected by the flood at the end of last year, recently. All right, so this is all the achievement that we have made so far. And in fact, I might say that climate change is an opportunity. Why I shall say like that? Even though it's a threat for us, we are tackling the climate change. However, if you can read it here, that we will think about energy efficiency, right, to expand access, where we will use energy more efficiently, right? As simple as, using an air conditioner, for example. When you on or switch on the aircon, you need to make sure that your room is, is fully closed. Okay, you can have a very energy. You can have a very cold room, for example. So energy being used efficiently. Okay, number two is the alternative and renewable energy. As I said just now, Malaysia have been given incentive to people, installing solar energy. All right, we have solar panels all over Malaysia. Wind energy is not yet, but we have developed on biomass energy. All right, we are very rich in agricultural crops, things like that. And next is diversify economic growth. Okay, new, clean, and sustainable energy. Okay, in fact, it creates jobs to people. Yeah, because for example, if I give solar energy, you have to manufacture the solar panel, for example. So it creates jobs, creates industry. People will flocks into this renewable energy sectors. And opportunity to improve policy coordination. So our government is taking seriously on tackling climate change. So hence, the opportunity, you have a bigger opportunity in order to improve the policy coordination as well as the implementation. Okay. So this is the existing mitigation that we have in our country. Number one is the national key economic areas, as I said just now, because we have these Malaysian plans, okay, and we have the Malaysian plans as well. Number two is the Green Technology Master Plan, which is from 2017 to 2030 to transform Malaysia to a low GHG, a reduction of GHG and efficient economy, right, would reduce 40% by 2020. So we shall see the report this year, okay, on how many percent of carbon reduction we have made so far. Next is the energy efficiency action plans, okay, which reduce the emission of 13.1 million CO2 equivalent for year 2030. Next is the transportation sector. If you have been to KL, you can see Kuala Lumpur. You can see the MRT. Okay, successfully, we will remove about 9.9 million cars, okay, on the road, right? And more cars will be eliminated okay, from the road between the year of 2020 to 2030. And next is the low carbon cities framework, which to introduce a carbon reduction blueprint within the local authorities and developers in making decision of greener solution. This come back to the industrial or the building industries, okay, the construction industries, right? So existing adaptation that we have is number one is identification of vulnerable zones for building, okay. Number two is participation in regionally and international adaptation projects. So we have been very active in this. Okay, next is the integrated flood and rainfall management. Okay, we have the agencies, we have the teams in order to integrate flood and rainfall management, so we can predict, right, this when we have a heavy rainfall, then it will cause flood, right? So we can predict, and we are more ready, right, for this kind of disaster. Next is the integrated water resources management and online weather and flood warning. Okay. So now, as I said, we have 11 Malaysian, we have 10 Malaysian plan, we have 12 Malaysian plan, and now we are going to 12 Malaysian plan. Okay, within the range of 2021 to 2025, which is 5 years range. So I think it's being is have been developed, and now we want to disseminate it to people, right? And climate change and SDG related focus are very, very related with our Malaysian plan in terms of economy, environment, social impact, where we have the technical working group, which cater environment, climate change, and disaster risk management. So Malaysia take this seriously on tackling Malaysian climate change. We integrate this in Malaysian plan, and now is the 12th Malaysian plan, right? So we as a researcher, right, we always give recommendation to the government, because in our world of research, we found out that these things matters. Okay, how is it matters? Is number one, the recommendation that we can make is number one is step up with segregation and recycling. Are you recycling things? Are you are you just throw it away and go to the landfill? Okay. Number two is to revive B10 biodiesel program. Okay, if you see that our country, your country also is very rich with oil palm. Okay, so we're using B10, okay, 10% of all biodiesel, okay, in this program, okay, which contain 10% of palm oil, up to 7% blend currently sold. Okay, there are currently sold. And next is the review of sustainability of energy mix. Okay, a mix of energy, of renewable energy. And number four is effective climate watch platform. We have this agency to assist. And next is integrated flood and rainfall management and performance monitoring and continual improvement. Okay, we are suggesting or recommending a continual improvement. That's why the country is always putting in the initiative within the Malaysian plan, as I said, okay, from 10 now to 12 Malaysian plan. All right, and wait, oops, what happened now? Okay, wait, why is it? Okay, so okay, once we recommend that, so what else can we do as individuals? You may ask yourself, right, what you may do in order to tackle climate change, because this is the country have provided policies, right, have provided plan for people to do, for people for them to disseminate these policies, right? So as an individual, number one, you can reduce carbon footprint, for example. As I said just now, you can recycle, okay, zero waste production, save energy, okay, awareness campaign. And I think this GLS SDG is one of your effort, right, in order to tackle climate change, to create awareness, okay, among the participants, among the students, right? Next is education, okay, on environment and climate change. I hope that you have this specific course, to the student on environment and climate change in order to, to have the sustainabilities as I defined earlier. And next, you may avoid plastic and polystyrene. Okay, in UNIMAP, we have banned polystyrene, right? And we are going to no single-use plastics. Okay, next is about safe water, right? So these are the things that you can do as individual, right? So I hope that my talk today on Malaysian initiative, okay, have have improved in terms of your knowledge in order of to think about the best practices that you can do, that we can we can, this dissemination would help you to gather Malaysia and Indonesia to tackle climate change. So I think that's it for my presentation for today. However, I have a special videos. Miss Rini will run it for me. Okay, the videos is about research in University Malaysia Perlis, okay, under the Center of Biomass Utilization, okay, or we call CEBU. So Miss Rini, perhaps you can play it so that everyone can see.
Okay, Dr. Umi
Yeah.
and Mbak Fitria, please. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. So that's the end of my presentation. I hope that all the participants are happy, and might be possible if you come to University Malaysia Perlis, join our team, our research team here. We have lots of research relating to SDG 13, and I hope you enjoy this lecture just now. Thank you. I give back to Mr. Willie.
Thank you for the nice presentation and video. And Dr. Umi already mentioned to us is regarding the climate change as the opportunity. As we know, Indonesia currently get the tropical cyclone and already hit the East Nusa Tenggara. We call the tropical cyclone Sukojo. So actually the climate change already have the big impact for of the us whole of the world actually, and sometimes we name the cyclone with a good name like flower Sukojo or maybe Katrina to avoid the community to afraid and try to adapt the in the condition and even in the very bad condition. It's very nice. For all the participants, about 300 participants, please wait for the Q&A session. Please put your question in the link that already given to you by the committee. And let's we continue to the second lecture from Professor Bangun to deliver his lecture regarding the mangrove in particularly in the climate change. Please, Prof. Bangun.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. I very because I this lecture. From ITS, Mrs. Chief Professor Dr. Umi in campus ITS. Yeah. I permit a share screen. Yeah, for my presentation. Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, we can see, but still not in the slideshow mode, Prof. Bangun.
You said the mic is okay. Okay, not yet.
It's not come
Okay.
out.
Now it's disappear.
Disappear
Yeah.
again.
Okay.
Yeah, disappear again.
It's okay. Not yet.
Yeah, we can see.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. As my topic or my title, the presentation, the things of biodiversity mangrove. I using multitemporal remote sensing technology in coastal area. And my presentation my presentation is the and status and future plan. It's the program for government Indonesia. And second, the geospatial information and remote sensing. City, the geospatial information and sustainable development goals or SDGs. And then finally, the biodiversity of mangrove.
Prof. Bangun,
Yeah. Yeah.
would you to slideshow your presentation or you can press F5?
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Okay.
You're welcome.
It's okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's perfect now. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. It's the program for government Indonesia is the One Map Policy Indonesia Plan. Is the One Map Policy Indonesia. Why? The problem in this in our country, we have the thematic mapping and thematic map. Yeah, thematic mapping carried out of the central and local government and local government institution has not been well coordinated. Every government, local government, we have the regulation. And second, the number of the thematic map are relatively large and not all them are clear for their constituent are. The same thematic map are often published by more than one party without coordination. Thematic map often use different piece map. This map, the thematic map, have not all been stored in a digital database that is easy to access and share quickly. And then for thematic map, the reference and standard are not uniform. Map accuracy is still diverse, not always up to date. Accessibility is still a problem. Data sharing is often difficult. And then the provide list or inaccurate spatial information, the low quality of spatial-based decision-making, overlapping and conflict in land use and area boundary. Land use that is not in accordance with the spatial plan. And then is the, I think it's confirmed with the presentation Dr. Umi. the climate of development and investment become not conducive. Achievement level or local and national development is decreasing. This is a background or problem in our country. For example, of overlapping permit due to non-united thematic map. We have certain stakeholder, for example, we have the forestry department. We have the department agriculture. We have the mining department, etc. Every department we have the map. For example, for mining sector, we have the permit of mining sector. For forestry sector, we have the permit of forestry sector. And then for cadastre or land cadastre, we have the permit. All the overlapping create legal, social, economic, environmental. Finally, we have the conflict. Yeah. Lead to unattractive investment condition, hampering the development process, delaying the project complexity, wasting the energy of development. Is the case in Kalimantan Island or in Borneo. Finally, the need of one map policy Indonesia. So far, each stakeholder use different format and standard of thematic and piece map to do activity. We have the border area conflict. We have the land use dispute. We have the land use violation. And then finally, we create one system of accurate and reliability map as the difference for all stakeholders and formulating development planning is needed. This is the program from of my government or government. Finally, we have the one map policy of Indonesia. This is the president regulation, yeah, in 2016 regarding the acceleration of implementation of one map policy on scale 50% of map accuracy. We have the certain map, one map policy goals, one map policy utility, one map policy main program. One map policy goals is concerned the key reference standard database queue portal. For one map policy utility is reference spatial planning, national resource management, sustainable development, disaster risk reduction management, policy and decision making, and then digital economy development. For one map policy main program, we have the certain program for compilation, integration, synchronization, and data sharing. Is the triangle. We have the thematic map. We have the ministerial agency. We have the province, and finally, we hope the one map policy. This is the one map policy main program. So the compilation, integration, synchronization, and finally the data sharing. Yeah, we have the certain compilation because we have the several data. Yeah, output the compilation thematic map with sufficient quality for integration process. And then a second is integration. This output standardization, yeah, 18.5 thematic map are targeted to be finished this year, or because it's lately. For synchronization, the output is clean and clear, all thematic map. Elimination, overlapping, and use conflict are targeted to be completed after the years 2019. And finally, is the principal goals is the data sharing. This is the stakeholder for One Belt Policy Indonesia. We have the 19th Minister Agency. We have the 18.5 thematic map. Yeah. And all the map in scale 15,000. This is the schedule for the One Map Policy Indonesia. We have the Kalimantan, primarily, Sumatra, Sulawesi, Papua, Maluku, Jawa, Bali, and NTT. Why the Jawa, Bali, NTT is last? Because it's the Jawa, Bali, NTT relatively is complete. Achievement of One Map Policy Indonesia. This is a compilation, yeah, because we have the several thematic map, integration, and then we have synchronization in status One Map Policy. The synchronization process even it took a relatively long time, will continue until it is finished. Synchronization basic principle for resolving overlapping problem. Yeah, we have the relatively priority scale between the four principle depend on the pattern or problem faced. In each pattern or problem, there is one principle that is become objective function, while the other three principle consensus sharing is the essence of One Map Policy. Is the data sharing with the based by GIS, Geographic Information System. We create WebGIS and website, the portal. The name is the INA-Geo portal. After the One Map Policy, now we continued with the One Data Policy. One Data Policy after the President direction, yeah, is launching in 2018. For data, One Data information is the strengthening the network, acceleration of village boundary mapping, effective updating of base map, acceleration of large-scale base map. Yeah. Before this year is the scale of map is 5,000 is now is the large scale in 5,000. Implementing a strategic function One Map Policy Indonesia concern the SDGs. We have the SDGs program, is the program, international program. Yeah, we have the SDGs indicator, national development indicator, and stakeholder. And finally, we have the One Map Policy geospatial information. Is the coordination tools, is the goal with the SDGs program. Yeah, and then we have the keyword is sustainability. Sustainability is the concern the inclusive economic, livable. This is sustainability. And then for other pressing issue, yeah, we have the certain issue, yeah, geospatial information related human resource development, especially at the provincial and district, strengthens and regulatory aspect of the one map policy implementation, institutional strengthening in the management of geospatial information at provincial partnership between the decision of the geospatial technology advancement in improving the performance of policy. Integrating of main policy program with the One Data Indonesia program. This is the advancement in geospatial technology. Utilize the advantage in geospatial technology to improve the performance of one map policy. We have the goals, the geospatial value, worth, economic, and society. After the program One Data Indonesia, yeah, we have the one map policy. We have the One Data Indonesia, the one map policy program with the government new program One Data Indonesia. This is the we have the certain stakeholder for government data. We create government data from the statistical data from the statistical agency, geospatial data from the geospatial information agency, and then for financial from the Minister of the Finance and other data. Finally, we have the government data. And then for government data, we have the accurate, up-to-date SLA, accessibility, and integrity. This is the One Data Indonesia. One Data Indonesia, we have the regulating, data government management, central government institution, local government institution for supporting, developing process, planning, execution, evaluation, and control. For principle of One Data Indonesia, data standard, standard metadata, data interoperability, and then reference code and primary data. For data custodian, we have the institution, Central Agency of Statistics, BPS, Geospatial Information Agency, PIG, Minister of Finance, and another data. Central Agency of Statistics, we have the statistical data. Geospatial Information Agency, we have the geospatial data. Minister of Finance, we have the state financial data. This is the One Data Indonesia. And then for integrated UMP, UDE, UDI, and GI for development process, we have the compilation, integration, synchronization, and finally, I have the data dissemination, yeah, and application, finally application, yeah. All user is the reference is the Data Indonesia. Direction of One Map Policy post 2019. We have the grand decision, completion, and sustainability. One Map Policy should be integrated with One Data Indonesia, national development goals, quality public service, and bureaucracy, electronic based government administrative service, electronic based public service, Finally, we have the one map policy to one data Indonesia. We have the dashboard for public. Now is the geospatial information with the remote sensing. Because remote sensing, one the technology is very complete for construct for build the data information. We have the certain remote sensing technology. This is the LAPAN. From the LAPAN, LAPAN is the airspace agency in Indonesia. We have certain data satellite. We have the low resolution, moderate resolution, high resolution, very high resolution. And then another data is active remote sensing. It's the SAR, low resolution, moderate resolution, high resolution, very high resolution is the passive remote sensing. But SAR is active remote sensing. Another available data, we have the Sentinel-1, we have the Sentinel-2, we have the Alos Pasar, it's the data remote sensing in LAPAN. And another is the Airbus from European Economic. We have the plates, it's the high resolution, for large scale. We have the Maxar, we have the World View, QI, World View 2, World View 3 is the passive remote sensing. From NASA, we have the certain satellite. We have the Landsat, NOAA, MIDIS, etc. It's the NASA. This is from the Dutch. We have the Terasar, Tandem, PAS. All the satellite is active remote sensing. From Japan, is JAXA. We have the satellite for climate change, for ocean, etc. The name of the satellite from Japan is the Himawari. It's the Himawari. This is catalog in LAPAN. We have the data catalog. We have the mosaic data. Accessibility and availability of remote sensing derived data. We have the natural resources, environmental and disaster monitoring information, hotspot information, natural resources in environmental information. If you this is the for remote sensing from the CEPAL. CEPAL is Mosaic, Landsat, and Sentinel. It combine the two type the data satellite data. This is the utilization the remote sensing for hazard. This is land subsidence. The flow now is the sustainable development goals. I think this is Dr. Umi. We just presented the sustainable development goals. Firstly, this is the Earth's observation. We can observe the atmosphere, hydrology, geology, soil, ocean, and biodiversity, ecology. This is the pressure of the program of SDGs, and then the trend, and finally we have the major agenda. The role of and implementation of the SDGs. This is the recent SDGs achievement. We have the SDGs index and dashboard. Sustainable development report. I think it's the left of the behind the SDGs program: education, health, energy, sustainable city, digital revolution. Yeah. Definitely, for role of the Earth observation data in support of the SDGs, we have the 17 SDGs, the result framework, global indicator, implementation for national planning, processing, policy, strategic and framework, measuring and monitoring statistic, geospatial information, Earth observation, and other big data or cloud computation. Satellite data characteristic for SDGs, free and open, scale and coverage, consistency and comparability, continuity and time series, complementary with traditional statistics method, diverse measurement. This is the sustainable development goal from goals and target to indicated and observation. This is the review of application of satellite Earth observation data global, societal benefit and stewardship of planet Earth. Yeah, this is the contribution. What's the goals number? Goal 15. Now we speak the goals 13. Yeah, yeah, goal 13. This is the goal 13. 5%. This is the water, clean water. Yeah, this is the application of remote sensing data for SDGs in Indonesia. We have the research, watershed in Citarum, yeah, in prediction in watershed area, challenges, international watershed area into spatial plan. Citarum is in West Java. For SDGs 11, this is the in Surabaya. We have the vegetation. Yeah, this is the climate action. Same with the this is Dr. Umi. She presented. Is the in my country, in our country, and then the SDGs 14. This is the for fishery, and then the national target for increased environmental quality. Yeah, this is the activity. This is changes. Yeah, activity land forest cover monitoring for Indonesia. Challenges providing automated multitemporal and multi-resolution remote sensing and data processing, intensifying ground validation and verification. Now, I speak the biodiversity mangrove. Yeah, Indonesia is second country along coastline. Yeah, has the large biodiversity in the world. Mangrove area is found in Southeast Asia. Yeah, in Malaysia. And then within 11 years, it decreased by 15% after the Minister of Forestry. Mangrove forest is one of the coastal natural resources which has an important role with both ecological and economical. The function of mangrove forest is to prevent coastal erosion and abrasion, prevent water intrusion as a species of animal and stabilize coastal area. Mangrove forest ecosystem is complex and dynamic, but instable. It is instable because it is especially damaged and difficult to recover to normal. Biodiversity is the biological variety and variability of life on Earth. Biodiversity is a measure and variation of the genetic species and ecosystem level. Terrestrial biodiversity is usually greater near the equator, which is the result of the warm climate and high primary productivity. This mangrove ecosystem cover less than 10% of Earth's surface and contain about 90% of the world species. Over time, mangrove forests in Indonesia have decreased in area due to high rate of deforestation. The decrease in mangrove area was caused in uncontrolled land use, expansion of pond, illegal logging, and pollution around coastal area. And East Java Salt need of mangrove forests, covering 45,000 hectares as a coastline protector on portion of the north and east coast. Anyway, the decline in the area of mangrove forest in Gresik Regency reaches 40% or around 271 hectares. Yeah, this is the end region, the Gresik. So there is a need for monitoring of mangrove health, especially in Gresik Regency, to find out the health of mangrove can be seen from the density level of mangrove canopy. The density level of mangrove canopy can be calculated using the normalized difference vegetation index. Vegetation index algorithm, which use the mathematical combination between the ratio of near and red canal. This algorithm makes use of the physical phenomenon of reflecting light coming from the leaf. Vegetation index calculation is done on Sentinel 2A level and 1G satellite imagery. This is because the Sentinel 2A level 1G satellite imagery is able to provide data with fairly good spatial resolution, with a spatial resolution of 10 meters on band 2, 3, 4, and 8. Spatial resolution of 20 meters in band 5, 6, 7, 8A, 11, and 12. And spatial resolution of 60 meters in band 1, 9, and 10. Then to find out the relationship between the density of mangrove canopy and their environment, a correlation test was carried out about between the vegetation index and water and soil parameter sample in the form of water pH, water salinity, soil water content, soil nitrogen, sand soil type, silt soil type, and clay soil type. This is the region area in Gresik district in East Java. Yeah, this is the data and equipment. Data, we have the Sentinel, yeah, and we have the imagery and sample from the field, and then we have the infrared from the photography infrared. This is the equipment. This is the processing data. We have the atmospheric correction. We have the NDVI algorithm calculation. We have the image classification. And finally, we have the correlation data in the field. The result, NDVI algorithm calculation, we have the certain result. Yeah. This is the result, the supervised classification. This is a image classification based on NDVI. We have the mangrove area based on density level, and then the total mangrove area. This is the histogram. This is the statistical data. This is a discussion for overall the result of mangrove. This is the correlation between NDVI of image and NDVI of the aerial photography with infrared camera. Yeah. This is the discussion. This is a result. T-test between NDVI of Citra and NDVI of aerial photography. Yeah. Formulate hypothesis, determine of calculation and signification. Define a table. Yeah, this is a histogram for correlation between the NDVI of image with water and soil parameter. This is the discussion. This is a t-test between the NDVI of image with the water and soil parameters sample data. This is the calculation of suspended solid. Concerning with this is the suspended solid, the histogram for validation of the algorithm, the new equation model for estimating expanded sediment concentration and multitemporal image. Yeah. This is Kingsman, the area of mangrove concerning the sediment between 20 this is a histogram, the decrease the mangrove area. This is the accuracy of the classification, the classification of mangrove. Distribution of and change in mangrove area, sediment and mangrove change. Yeah. With the test for the effect of suspended sediment of mangrove change. Yeah.
My
conclusion.
apologies. Prof. Bangun, 5 minutes left.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Is the conclusion. Suspended sediment concentration estimate from remote sensing data are obtained using prior algorithm, but those do not meet the specific accuracy requirement. The research show that the hairpin things in the mangrove are in the form, yeah, the statistical result growth. Thank you very much for your attention. I send the time for Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Bangun, for the nice lecture regarding the mapping and mangrove. We know that Indonesia still face the problem of using one map. Actually, also the coordination between the many stakeholders regarding using the map, especially for the disaster and maybe the coastal mapping for mangrove. So we continue to the Q&A session. Please, any participant who will to ask directly to the lectures, please use the raise hand feature for in Zoom. Otherwise, you can write down the question to the link that already given by the committee. Please, any one of you, if you have a question directly, please. I'm so sorry, I don't know, is Mr. or Miss Lutfi? Oh, Mr. Lutfi from ITS, please, you can ask, and please tell to us to whom you give the answer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the chance to give question. My name is Luffy. I want to ask question to Prof. Bangun. So before you mentioned about two things, one map policy in Indonesia and one data Indonesia. I'm wondering how safe it is from cybercrime and hacking. Like this is a government data. There's a lot of important things in there. So if the security is not good, I'm afraid it will be used by some other people to sell to other country or something. Thank you.
Yeah, please, Professor Bangun.
Directly? Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you
directly.
very much for your question. Yeah, okay. Okay, thank you, Mr. Lutfi. Yeah. The problem our country always the data spatial. Every stakeholder, we have the data. And then all the data, all the map is not yet the reference unique. The concept, the one map policy, the government create one reference. We have the standard for reference geospatial. Because all the country in the world, we have the one reference for our country. Yeah, it's the problem. Before the program one map policy. Yeah, for example, for the Minister the Forestry, we have the map of the forest. For Minister the Energy, mining, we have map for energy. All the stakeholder or all the sector, we have the reference difference. This is the problem for coordinating, for developing this region. In Indonesia, we have the three tip of the region. Yeah, forestry region, urban region, and rural region. It's more good, yeah. But for forests, it's difficult. Yeah, it's a problem. The background is in our country. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Bangun. For the second participant, I will read from the link that already given to me. The second participant, Miss Sinta Amalia from ITS, have two questions. The first one is for Dr. Umi, and the second one for both of the lectures. For the first question for Dr. Umi, Ms. Sinta said that we all know the main problem of the rapid change in our climate is from the big manufacturer or corporation. The corporation emit and pollute actually, and also is based on the people demand that they may the production convert to the cycle change. So actually, there is any point of view that what is the youngster to break or to repair the change. Actually, this one sometimes they're more concerned to the production instead of the cycle process. What the youngster can involve in or break or repair the change that maybe to make the better ways in terms to climate. The first question to Dr. Umi. And the second question is for both of the lectures. Actually, the economic is the one of main cause that people ignore the climates. More developed and rich country actually is more aware about climate than the maybe the developed country. Therefore, she pretty sure that we cannot really generalize maybe to apply the climate change prevention to everyone around the world. What is your suggestion about this matter? Yeah? Because she thinks that the SDGs or the climate change prevention sometimes is concerned by the modern country compared with the developed country. I think this two question is maybe can answer by the lectures. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Willie. Can I answer the first question?
Yes.
All right. Thank you for your questions. So you're asking about how manufacturing affect the climate change, because now, you know, manufacturing is really actively being done. The manufacturing sectors is really actively, especially in Malaysia, Indonesia, and all the developing countries, right? So number one, you have to balance up, okay? Balance up between between sustainability and manufacturing. You have to be fair enough for those two things. It's important. So how you want to balance up is to apply green practices, right? For example, how you manufacture plastic, for example? You know, do you use new materials or do you use recyclable materials? You know, things like that produce a circle, or we call it as circular economy, right? You don't want to be cradle to grave concept, right? We want a cradle to cradle concept, okay? Which is, for example, if you produce waste, you recycle back and you produce back the actual materials. So instead of doing linear economy, okay, you go back to circular economy, okay, which you have a good cycle or a good ecosystem. So then you can maintain the sustainability or achieve sustainability. So is it okay? So
yeah.
Might be you need another lecture on what are the differences between linear economy and circular economy, right? And question number 2, it says that climate change doesn't, the initiative doesn't apply to everyone. It's just developed country. No, it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't state like that, because most of the country ratify the policies amend within this, by the developed countries. For example, I present just now on COP, they ratifies all these policies, and they try to take initiatives to do that, to do all the suggested, suggested things that being suggested within the meetings of COP. So in terms of this, in order to tackle climate change, is always everybody everybody have to play a very important part or responsible for this. Basically, developed countries, basically they need to help in terms of technology transfer to developing countries, and to help in funding, for example. So basically, this is a responsibility for all, not only for developed countries, but also for developing countries. But developed countries always play, the major roles in order to bring upon the developing countries to tackle climate change. So that's my feedback to the questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Umi. Please, Professor Bangun, to also give the answer from the second question regarding the balancing for the climate change in terms of the developed country and the development country.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. It's very, very important and very, very interesting because in future, the climate change is very, 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 very topic or very, very for a study in climate change. For example, in my research, for mangrove. Mangrove is very, very dependent with the climate. For example, the La Nina or El Nino phenomenon is can destroy, disrupt the mangrove. But another factor, the climate change, you can mangrove for it's not decrease but it increase because the mangrove necessary the salinity. The salinity is transported by the tidal. The tidal is the if not the tidal, the salinity and inferior the coastal not exists. For vegetation of mangrove, it's necessary the salinity. It principally is factor very important. Yeah, for increase the mangrove. And finally, the climate change is not always negative, but climate change is the is possibility is positive. Excuse me, because the person you think climate change is always negative. Yeah, it's but another side, climate change is a positive for vegetation or for animal, yeah, and chemical process. Yeah, it's the very important. All person understand function of the climate change. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Bangun. For the next participant, we allow from the participant from the Philippines, from Calvin State University, from Ms. Rosario Gumban. This question is actually for both of the presenter. Maybe if Ms. Rosario can ask directly, if you like, maybe. If no, I will read the question for both of the lectures. What is your opinion regarding the land conversion from agriculture to commercial because of urban development? Can you share how we can protect better the natural nature of land to minimize the global effects? I think this one is for both lectures. Thank you.
Maybe Prof can answer that because I cannot listen it properly. The question. Maybe you can write it, paste it in the chat box.
Yeah, maybe Prof. Bangun, I will write down the question first.
Yeah. Protectment the land. Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
The problem the change.
Yeah, change from agriculture to the commercial. Yeah, commercial area.
Okay. Yeah, it's my opinion. For changement the agriculture area to industrial or settlement, it's very, it's not good, yeah. Because it's not all industry. It's not a thing. How the impact after agriculture area, it takes industry. For example, for waste water, yeah.
Excuse me, Professor Bangun, maybe lost signal, yeah.
I try to answer the questions. It says that what is your stand about land conversion from agricultural to commercial because of urban development? All right. This one should have a proper strategies, right? Better protect the natural nature because most probably the population, going to be increasing year by year. So basically, you need to convert agricultural to commercial or residential areas, things like that. But as I said again, you have to look into sustainability, because it doesn't mean that it will fulfill the needs now, but it doesn't fulfill the needs for your future generations. So it should have a proper planning on this. Nowadays, they are doing like they reclaim the land. They do a residential area, but at the same time, they make it as a agro places or a very trees things. So that's why, if I'm not mistaken, there are things regarding carbon footprints. Okay, so what is the carbon carbon emits from your activities? For example, in this question is to convert from agriculture to commercial sectors, for examples. All right, and you have this carbon credit where you have to replace back what you have reclaimed. Okay, so this thing matters in order to maintain sustainability. And just now, Prof was saying about climate change is not only negative. Yes, I can agree with that. That's why in my presentation, there are opportunities of climate change. So these things happen because of a reason. So there are concerns and there are opportunities that we can, we can actively involve. But the bottom line is how we balance up things, because we don't want our our surface temperature goes up until 40s and above. Do you want that to happen? Or being extremely cold or extremely hot? So I think, you know, this thing, I'll ask you back to, all of the participants to think about our responsibility in terms of, you know, I always say tackling climate change, because we don't want this impact to happen for our future generations. So that is my answer for that. So it always strike a balance between, for that question, you know, in terms of reclaiming agricultural land to commercial sectors. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Right.
This one actually many participants are very interesting to your video actually, and ask regarding the B10 biodiesel program. The first question is regarding the B10 biodiesel program actually from what kind of field or what kind of material that used for the B10 biodiesel
This
program?
oil palm.
Oil
Yeah.
palm, yeah.
Yes. For at this moment, yes, that one is the major crops that we use for that.
Yeah.
So basically, it's not really disseminated to all the countries yet. I mean, all the states in Malaysia. A few states have used that. Yeah. So hopefully, by the year coming, you know, next year we will have more states using this. Yeah.
Yeah. The second question regarding the B10 biodiesel is the question from Mr. Torik. Yeah, he asked regarding in your presentation, you mentioned the one of suggestion to escalate the Malaysian climate program to revise the B10 biodiesel program. Would that increase the demand of palm oil, which lead to the another problem? And how about giving the incentive to using the electric vehicle?
Yeah.
And
we have
this one.
basically we have a few options in terms of sustainable energy and renewable energy. We don't want only one market to monopolize. You understand what I mean, Mr. Willie? So it means that we have solar energy. We just produced an electric car, homely made, right? And we sell below 50,000 ringgit Malaysia. So we want to create an ecosystem that is fair and square to people, right? There are no monopoly. There are no things like, you know, just we concentrate in one renewable energy, discarded any other renewable energy, because we have this, Malaysia are blessed, you know, with this, a lot of, if I say biomass, we are blessed with the sunshine, you know, sunlight, things like this. So basically, the government is putting out the best policies, okay, so that all the stakeholders, right, will have the equal opportunities, right? And we as consumers can choose, right, which one we want to, you know, in terms of we want to use or we want to apply, and yeah, things like this should be, as I mentioned previously, should be balanced. So so in terms of biodiesel program, this is one of the initiatives made from several other initiatives in terms to promote renewable energy and the interdependency of fossil fuels. Yeah, that's my answer for that.
Yeah, thank you. For the next question is regarding the similarity between Indonesia and Malaysia. Actually, what kind of the similarity in terms of the climate change challenge between Indonesia and Malaysia, especially in urban area? This question from
yeah, I think Prof have to answer that. Once you listen to my presentation, maybe you can, you know, all the incentive or action taken from our government might be some similarity on that. I'm not sure about
Yeah.
Malaysia, but I shall check on it. Yeah.
Maybe Professor Bangun, because Professor Bangun have many experience with the
Yes.
government, yeah, have the policy, and also Mr. Bangun also give the consideration for the central government regarding the
Yeah,
policy.
yeah. It's a problem for the urbanism because before the government now is we have the certain program with the program kampung program, and then for transmigration program, resettlement program. I think the program is good. It's very good. But for implementation, we have it's not good, yeah. You know, in rural area or urban area, always exists the slum area. Now, our government, we do what's the PPGS? It's not. This is the charity. You know, at charity. Charity is the gratuitous, yeah, gratuitous, yeah. Charity is not work, not job, but government give the money. It's not. I think it's not good, yeah. For education, for citizen, it's not good. Yeah, it's a problem. For test program is okay, but the program is always continuous. Is problem. Yeah, I think it's we have the standard for salary, for revenue, all citizen. How much? Yeah, salary we can subsidy, or we can supplement from the government. Yeah, I think for independent citizen is very important. I don't know in Malaysia. In Malaysia, I think you have the program for charity. Charity is the kadu. It's not bonus. It's bonus for non-unfortunity, for citizen unfortunity. It's problem.
Subsidize.
For determine the standard revenue citizen. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Prof is saying on implementation.
Yeah.
Because most probably all the policies are there, but then the implementation is quite low, so we cannot achieve our target. Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mr. Willy, there is another question stating about regulation of electric vehicle in Malaysia. As I said last week, we have just launched our first electrical car. Called My Car, MYKR. So in terms of, we have this innovation. However, in terms of facilities, right, we still lack of it.
Yeah.
but we are going towards the revolutionary about using electric car.
Yeah.
Providing facilities, proper facilities, and widespread
Yeah.
in the whole country or in the states,
Yeah.
the whole states in Malaysia. So
Yeah.
then we can fully utilize our electric car.
Yeah. Gratis leh?
Sorry?
Gratis?
Free,
Gratis?
free
Free?
of
Not
charge.
free. No, not
Free
free.
of charge.
No. But the incentive are given by the government in terms of our innovators to
Okay.
innovate the electric car.
Yeah.
It's not gratis. It's not gratis. You
Okay.
have to pay for that. But the price should be reasonable for the people of Malaysia. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily in ITS we already have the electric motorcycle that already have mass production, but for car, Indonesia actually just still produce prototype because the regulation is not established in wide
Yeah.
sector.
Yeah. But they're going to produce that. It's just that you will create like competition with our fossil fuels, you know. So the government have to play a role in terms to balance up. So nobody will monopolize, you know, the industry of renewable energy, as I said just now. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Mr. Chairman, I
Yeah.
can pose question for Dr. Umi.
Yeah, please welcome. Please you
Yeah,
can.
okay. Dr. Umi concern the new energy from the alkaline for electricity. Alkaline, you know?
From what?
Alkaline, baterai. Alkaline for new energy. For
From
baterai.
Nickel?
Yeah.
Nickel baterai.
Fuel cell. Oh, fuel cell, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fuel cell, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you know
What's your
that
opinion?
we actively research on that.
Yeah.
But it's going through, but it takes some time.
Yeah.
You know, University Kebangsaan Malaysia, they have Institute of Fuel Cells.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have produced several scientific papers on that.
Yeah.
But I just presume that it will a long way to go compared to any other renewable energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because of the I think I'm not studying on fuel cell, but I do think that it's a complicated arrangement of that. However, we have a few centers that studies on this, but that is a good question, Prof.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we do have initiative on fuel cell. We have been developing it for quite some time. But even in Europe country, I remember because I'm studying in Imperial College. So in 2011, they are using a very thin membrane, you know, to produce carbon air fuel cells. Yeah, but up till now, they produce scientific papers, but in terms of application, the real world application, it doesn't start yet. I mean, it doesn't in terms of application, real world, there is not yet. I mean, the bottom line is how the technology is quite developed, but in terms of financial, economic things like that should be think of and should be balanced up. Now we have these techno innovation things, because fossil fuels are more cheaper. And these, you know, we have a very good sunlight, things like that. So we have solar energy. So if you ask me about application in real world, in Malaysia still not there. However, research is actively undertaken. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Bangun and Dr. Umi. I think the question from Professor Bangun close our question and answer session. It's very nice discussion.
I would like to thank everybody here, participant. Maybe we can take one pictures later. And Prof Bangun, very nice to meet you.
Okay.
I hope we can, talk.
Thank you very much.
Collaborate.
Okay.
on
Yeah,
things
I
like
hope.
that. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a very
Yeah.
great
Okay.
participant is near 300 and currently still stand with us is more than 230. It's very nice in more than 2 hours. Maybe I will give to the committee to close the session, also to give the photo session. I would like to say very thank you to both of you. It's very nice discussion regarding the climate. It's responsible to all of us, not just Malaysia, Indonesia, and also is we should adapt it and mitigate the climate change, like Dr. Umi in her presentation, and also collaboration between the many stakeholders regarding from the Prof. Bangun lecture. Thank you, and I will close the session and give to the committee. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and barakallahu fikum.
Waalaikumsalam wabarakatuh.
Please, Miss Nur
Yeah.
or
Yeah, it seems Miss Nur have a poor connection, so I will take over for the MC for this evening. And then
have come back.
oh, okay, please,
sorry.
Mbak Nur.
Already written.
Okay, I'm sorry for my terrible connection because right now it's raining. Okay, thank you very much for Dr. Umi Fazara and Professor Bangun Mulyo Sukojo for the excellent lectures today. And thank you as well to Mr. Welly for moderating this insightful session. Please give applause to our speakers and moderator by using the Zoom reaction feature. Furthermore, we would like to present a certificate awardee to both of our speakers and also our moderator today. This is the certificate presented for Associate Professor Umi Fazara MD as the speaker for today's guest lecture. And then this is the certificate presented for Professor Bangun Mulyo Sukojo as the speaker for today's guest lecture. Moving on, lastly, this is the certificate presented for Mr. Welly Herumurti as the moderator. Okay, once again, thank you very much to Associate Professor Umi Fazara and Professor Bangun Mulyo Sukojo for your availability on today's guest lecture series. Moving on, before we end our lecture today, we invite you all participants as well as the honorable speakers and moderator to take a group photo. To all participants, please open your camera. Okay. Okay, some of you have opened your camera. Let's wait for another minute. Okay, since we have 10 slides, please keep your smile until we finish the photo session because we don't know on which slide you are on right now. Okay, maybe the committee, please help me. Okay, I will start counting right now. For the first slide, 3, 2, 1. Next slide, 3, 2, 1. Next slide, 3, 2, 1. For the fourth slide, 3, 2, 1. For the fifth slide, 3, 2, 1. For the sixth slide, 3, 2, 1. For the seventh slide, 3, 2, 1. For the eighth slide, 3, 2, 1. Second to the last, 3, 2, 1. Okay, for the last slide, 3, 2, 1. Great. Thank you very much for your participation. Now that we have finished the group photo, then for the participants, please fill the feedback form through the link bit.ly/feedbackgls that you can also see in the Zoom chat room. The deadline for filling the feedback form is 1 hour after we finish this session. We want to remind you the participant who will get the stamp is the participants who come on time, join until the end of this event, and also fill the feedback form. Tomorrow, we will have 2 parallel guest lectures. The first stream will be presented by Dr. Mashita from University Technology Mara and Dr. Berlian Al-Hindi from ITS. The topic will be related to SDGs number 9, or Industry, Innovation, and Infrastructure. For the second one, there are Mr. Michael John Tagadiat from Bukitnon State University and Dr. Elia Zulaiha from ITS as our speakers. The topic is about SDGs number 4, or the quality education. Finally, we have reached the end of today's guest lecture series for today, and we sincerely apologize for any mistakes we may have made during the presentation as the master of ceremony and the committees. Thank you very much to the speakers, moderator, and all participants for the attention and cooperation. I, Nur SMC, bids farewell. Good afternoon, and we will see you again tomorrow at the GLS session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Once again, thank you everyone. Thank you special for Dr.
thank
Umi
you,
Fazara,
Terima kasih.
to Prof Bangun Mulyo, to Bapak Weli, and all participants. See you tomorrow. Stay safe and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Allow me to
Waalaikumsalam
end.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Warahmatullahi.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye.
Allow me to
Well,
end this session in 3, 2, 1. See you.